Hello!
Hi. Hi.
Welcome back to the channel. It's been a couple years, but a few months ago we said what we're up to next, and we're going to get at it now. So, you might remember we last saw this flapping arm guy a while back. We're going to have some more fun with him today. And for that, we are going to talk about buttons. Okay, that little button, tiny little thing, can't see that much. How does it work? Want to give that a press? Okay. Did it stay on?
No.
No. Buttons don't stay on. They aren't like light switches. A light switch, when you flick it, it stays on or it stays off. Just like that. A button only stays on as long as you press it in. So, we are going to learn how to add a button to our Arduino wiring. Okay? So,
Yay!
First I'm going to unplug this so power's not on and it's easier to move this around. From the instructions you can see we need to put a button over the middle here, and we put it over the middle. We've talked a little bit about breadboards before, and I can explain better later, but the button fits nicely over this middle channel, and that's so this side is disconnected from that side. We're going to put this here, and like it shows in the directions, we also need to add a wire. Okay, so I've got the short little wire that's already clipped to fit from power to one of the legs. Okay, so I've put that on there. So it goes to the red one, and it goes to the same column as one of the legs. So it connects to one of them. And then in the directions it has a wire up to a resistor, and then a resistor to the leg. But I'm just going to use the resistor, and I'm going to hook it up directly from the negative to the other leg. Okay, and I'm going to do this without pliers because I forgot my pliers. So there we go. Okay, so this resistor goes from this negative marked one to the other leg. And the reason we do that with the resistor is because if we just connect this wire to the button and then the button to the negative, as soon as you press the button, you're connecting negative to positive directly. That's called a short circuit. And everything will get very hot and things will burn out and you can break stuff. So we don't want to do that. This resistor is just so we have a connection between positive and negative that is a slow, nice, calm current between positive and negative. But when we press the button, it will connect the two. It will connect the positive to the negative. What's that going to do? Why is that any help? We have to detect when that happens. We have to know when that happens by hooking up a wire from this negative side to one of the pins on our Arduino. Now, there's a bit more about electricity that I could explain. It's a little out of depth for this point. That explains why this works. But basically, right now, this wire is hooked up to the resistor that goes to the negative. Okay, so this wire, right now, if I were to turn on this Arduino and sense it, it would say 0 volts, because this negative side is hooked up to the 0 volts on the Arduino. So this wire is going to say, oh, there's 0 volts, there's nothing there. But as soon as I press the button connects this wire to the positive. And because the positive is a wire, a direct wire, and not the resistor, it's going to say, oh, that's the, oops, button came off. It's going to connect to the positive side, which is the 5 volts, more strongly than it connects to the negative side, which is the ground, the 0 volts, because of the resistor. The resistor is going to say, I'm slower than the wire. And so the wire is going to be connected to this one. The positive is going to be connected to this blue wire. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Okay, resistor wire to our Arduino, and the button.
Isn't there already a button on the Arduino?
Oh, good question. Yes, there is a button on the Arduino, but that button right there is wired up directly to the reset on the Arduino. If I press that button, it just turns the Arduino off and then on again. But you're right, that is the same sort of button, but that one is permanently there. And this one, we can put the wire wherever we want it. I'm going to put it back here on pin 6. Oops, and I just bent it. So that is now on pin 6. So I'm going to bring up our code here, and we don't need those really directions right now. We do actually, because we are going to copy from this code. So we're going to pull up our code, and I have some of the parts from before still here. I have the arms up and down, and we have the part where we create those arms up and down. You can revisit the last video for more details. And then we're just going to set the cursor back to 0. We have the pins up here defined for our liquid crystal display, for our LCD. And we set up our LCD. But now we need one more. We need another pin. We need the pin that is going to be our button. And that is pin 6. Okay. And for the button, it is a pin. It's hooked up to this over here. We need to set the pin mode on the button to be an input. We need the Arduino to be able to read it, to know what it's currently set to right now. So we're going to pin mode on the button to be input. Okay, now we need to do something with that. What happens when we press the button? Right now, if I plug this in and I turn it on, nothing's going to happen. Well, I thought of something fun we could do to show when the button is pressed. So before, we drew the man, right? And the man, if we write 0 here, it is going to be arms down, because that's what we have up here. We've got 0 is arms down. So if we write a 0, his arms are going to be down. If we write a 1, his arms are going to be up. Well, how do we decide if his arms are up or down based on the button? Whether the button's pressed or not. Let's do that. So if we say, you can use an int or a bool, but I'm using bool, just going to make life easier here in a minute. If I say his arms should be up, is based on whether the button is pressed or not. We need to do a digital read. Read means we're going to go out and get information, right? And we can do that on the button because we set it as an input. We can do it on the button pin. So we're going to read button. The pin that is button. We're going to read that information. And this is going to be whether it's pressed or not. And if it's pressed, I actually have this backwards right now, but if it is pressed, so if his arms are up, then we'll write the 1. Otherwise, else, we'll write the 0. So this is an if-else block. If his arms are up, if this is pressed, we should do the 1. Otherwise, the 0. I might have that backwards. Let's find out. Let's plug this back in. Now, it's still going to do the old thing until I press this go button here, this send. Oh no, I broke something. Okay, I remember this from last time. This 0, it doesn't like just putting this 0 because it needs a byte here. I won't get into it, but basically it's complaining about this 0 because this 0 could be a different type, and we don't know what type it is. So let's clear that out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a couple of bytes up here that just make life easier. I'm going to have a byte called arms down. I'm going to have that be 0. I'm going to have a byte called arms up. I'm going to make that 1. And because I'm saying 0 is a byte, it knows that. I'm going to make these const because I don't want them to change. So const means, hey, code, don't change this. If I try to change this, don't let me. So I'm going to put arms down here and arms up here. So we know that we're putting arms down at 0 and arms up at 1. And guess what? That means if later we want to make that 5, we can make that one 5, and everything is now at 5. We don't have to go change all the different places. So that's really nice. So I'm going to say arms down here, and this one's arms up. Oops, I call this the same thing. So what do we name this? Well, it could just be button press, but let's see. What do you want to call it? We press the button.
If pressed.
Yeah, we can call it pressed. Let's call it pressed. Okay, now that should have fixed the 0 thing, because now this arms down is a byte. The 0 might not be an int or whatever other thing I think it could be. It is a byte. Great.
What the?
Didn't complain about that. Oh no! What have I done? I actually do know what I did. We got a bunch of little guys there, but while we're here... Yes! Look at that. Okay. Who wants to do the honors of pressing the button?
Me!
Press the button. Okay.
Oh.
Oops. Clicked the wrong thing here. I was trying to zoom in and it didn't work. Okay, oops. Button came off. Another oops. 2 oopses. Well, those are going to stay in. Okay, if you press the button.
His arms up and arms down.
His arms go up while the button is pressed. As long as I'm holding the button down, his arms go up. Great. So it worked. If pressed, his arms go up. Now let's do something about him showing up a million times. What happened was when you set the cursor to... Oh, I need to show the code again. We set the cursor of the display to 0, 0, which means the first column of the first row, because in code we use zeros to mean the first thing. We need to do that every time we go through the loop, because as soon as we write, the LCD moves to the next one, and then moves to the next one, and moves to the next one, moves to the next one, and so it just goes through them all. So we need to set the cursor back to 0 every time we go through the loop again. So now,
There's only one.
there's only one. And if we press the button, arm goes up, let go of the button, arms go down.
Can you move the man around?
What? It's like you predicted the future. That is actually what we're going to do next. But we're going to cut this one off here, so it's nice and short. People can watch this one on their own just to learn how to add a button to their Arduino project and see how to handle it in the code. And then next time, here in a minute, we'll handle moving the man around. Okay? See you guys next time.
Bye. Is that not what we're going to do?